Welcome, my name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and happy Christmas Eve. Can you believe it? We're a day away from Christmas. But let's do our card for today. So we are on our second card for the stamp set of the week, Friendly Foliage. So if you joined me on Monday, we used the stamped images and we are now going to incorporate the dies. So there are 6 dies in total with this set. 2 which I will demonstrate to you in a second. We've got 2 outlines which you stamp and cut out, and then 2 leaves that are just free, as in then there isn't a stamp for them. So let's bring in our card. I must apologise if I found it sound a bit groggy. I managed to give myself a wonderful Christmas Eve gift as a sore throat and a bit of a head cold, but hey, we carry on. So this is our card today. It is quite a 3D effect, but I will show you how to incorporate all of this. But I'm also bringing in my traditional wreath die, which gives us this mottled effect out here to incorporate all the leaves that we've got on here. So let's bring in our supplies for the time being. So there's quite a few, but don't fear. Nothing we haven't already done. So this is 8 inches by 5 3/4. I have 2 pieces, one in bubblegum and one in Lagoon. They both measure 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. I have a scrap piece of white for stamping, which we'll use in a second. I have a 1/2 inch by 2 3/4 sentiment strip, and then I'm going to remeasure these ones. So this piece of white card is 2 1/2 inches by 3 5/8, and this one is 2 5/8 by 3 3/4, and they layer on top of each other like so. Okay, so let's do our stamping as usual. So the colours we are using are Lost Lagoon, Bubble Bath and Crushed Curry. Let's put those up there so I got them to hand. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that big stamp image that we used. When did we use? We used it on Monday, and I'm going to ink that up in Lost Lagoon. Because it's on quite a big block, I'm going to take the ink pad to the image and stamp all over it, or ink all over it, should I say. There we go. Let's do that. There we go. Hold it down for a second. Then I'm going to bring in this long... I'm going to stop myself there because I have got the Lost Lagoon out. I'm going to stamp the sentiment first. Perfect. Right, sync that up. There we go. That's the image. So we can now put the Lost Lagoon away. And I'm going to bring out the Crushed Curry. So I'm going to stamp myself 3 of these. So 1, 2, 3. All right, let's put these aside. Stamping is all done. So we are going to cut out the images. So I'm going to bring in my washi tape and I'm going to bring in the dies. So this is a two die set for this particular image. So this goes over the top like so, and it will cut out just the image from the hole. Okay, so it cuts it all out. Okay, this cuts out all the white area that you don't need, so that the flowers are the only things that are showing. So this is why I'm holding them down with washi tape, because they will go through my machine. I have got another die, which I can't see what I've done with the dies. Did I put them back? Oh no, look, I've covered them up, stupid woman. Right, this is going to go over here like so. Another piece of washi tape. Like so. Then this particular leaf I'm going to put onto the bubblegum, and that will run through my machine. Bringing in my embossing folder, I'm going to lay my Lost Lagoon on the top and bring it over. Now this strip here tells you this is the front image, and I'm just going to make sure that all of the leaves are all the way around the outside. The middle doesn't matter because we're actually going to cover that up. So you're going to run these through the cut and emboss machine, and it will come back looking like all of this. So as you can see, the top layer cuts out all that bit, as I was trying to explain. Now I have been very cheeky and have already put my dimensionals on the back of that, because it is quite a time consuming, because I've cut up the little pieces just to sit on the back, and I didn't think you really need to see that on video. So I've got 3 of these, the little leaves, and then I've got the 3 stamped images as well. Then you've got the embossing folder, so you can just see the wreath coming through there. And now we can put everything together. Right, so unusually, push all those over there, we're not going to stamp on this white piece, we're just going to glue it to this bubble bath. I'm going to use my multi-purpose for this bit. There we go. Now this image will fit on here with some space around the edges. So it's just a case of taking off the backings. So let's do that. Yeah, as you can see, they're all tiny, tiny pieces. But once you've got it all in place, it works very well. I just didn't want the dimensionals showing through on the other side. So I hope everybody is ready for Christmas, and you've got your presents under the tree all nicely wrapped. There we go. So this can now go onto here. I'm just making sure there's enough room at the top and enough room at the bottom, because the sides are fine. Okay, as you can see. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensionals, but I'm only going to put them on the middle of this piece because I want to tuck flowers underneath. So let's bring in my dimensionals. So I'm literally just going to go on there, on there, on there, and on there. And then that can be stuck. Let's take that way off. Into, oh, not upside down. There. Now before I tuck the leaves behind, I'm going to stick this onto my crushed curry. And as I said, this is 8 inches by 5 3/4, and I have already scored it at the 4-inch mark. I'm going to use my multi-purpose again. Put a little bit more glue on there than normal because it is quite a bumpy embossing folder. And you want to make sure that it sticks down properly. Right, so there we go, that bit. Now is time to put our flowers. So I'm going to pop them in the corners like here. All right. So let's have a look. What I might do is I'm going to run a bit of glue down here. Come on, don't be silly. There we go. And I'm going to wrap that one over the top, like so. That glue should keep it in place. I'm going to do a little bit more glue here, because we're then going to bring in our stamped leaf. Okay, let's bring that over. Now I'm going to hold it and just cut off the section there, and then I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back, like so. You can lift this up and then just pop it underneath. There we are, and it will stay in place. Perfect. We're going to do exactly the same on the other end. Turn it round, but this time we have got 2 stamped images, like so. So I'm going to cut those off before I glue. Just going to put a bit of glue down here. You hear our Bella tip-tapping behind me. She's getting herself ready for Christmas. She's already checked that there's Christmas gifts under the tree for her. Tried to tell her there wasn't, but she sniffed them out. Thankfully, she hasn't opened them. Right, and I'm just going to add a bit of glue to that bit, and then that can go over the top. Turn it over, and let's get the glue on the back. And then once again, we can lift up the corner and pop our flowers underneath. Now, if you want to, before they dry, you can ease your yellows out a bit more. Yeah, there. Right, so the only thing left now is to put our sentiment on, and I'm just going to glue that down, and that will go straight across there. So, not a lot of glue, just a tiny bit in the middle. Yeah. And let's pop that in the middle there. Hold that down for a couple of seconds just to make sure it's taken place. And that is our second card for this week's stamp set of the week, Friendly Florals. So have a wonderful day tomorrow, and I hope to catch up with you Friday. Take care, everybody. Lots of love. Bye.